Hi guys, Tristan Scott here, and in today's video, I'm going to answer the question, would you call your leads? This is in relation to a mastermind partner of mine, Jordan Sayed, asking our group whether or not you would call your leads. And because he came in, got confused because Dave Wood says not to, Jonathan Budd says yes. So, which one is it really? And this is the beauty of having a mastermind partnership is that you have a place to throw questions like these, and you got people who are in the business who got the experience answering them and giving you their points of views on what, when, and why you would do something. So this is actually an interesting discussion we had in our group because um it was it just showed people started to step in and share the experience. Like Dan Har here said that you need to build a network. To have your network built, you need to create those relationships, and eventually you would need to speak to your leads. All right, so he would call. Now Teresa mentioned about us having an assistant. So if you have an assistant, then you can have you can basically have them pre-qualify your leads before you would even call them. All right, so that would save you lots and lots of time. And Andrea also mentioned another thing about qualifying leads, and in her case, she would only call leads they have when they're already customers. So when they have already bought something. All right, I presume that it doesn't even if it's a smaller price tag product. All right, and or she would call them if they are having questions related to buying a larger product. So if it's a high ticket product, basically, depends what you consider high ticket, probably about 500, 1,000, 2,000, and onwards. Then definitely you should call them if they're sending you questions. All right. And then some discussion here about how Andrea broke her own rule with Dan Har, which is really interesting. And we even and I even shared my point here about that I wouldn't waste my time calling people who are not quite there yet. So if they're new to this and they're just basically learning things just at the moment, then I wouldn't call them just yet, because I did those, and it just wasted a lot of my time because they would agree, yes, they see that that it's a good idea, that I drove my points well and all that, but then they never really committed by doing a certain action. So um I consider that like lost time. Okay, and I normally spend like 10 you know 5 to 10 minutes each of them. Even sometimes I would even spend more. So just part of the learning curve. And we even got to the discussion about me. I mentioned about Goldilocks, and then another story came in about the blind man and the elephant. So if you don't know about this story, which either I forgot or I never did, it's about six blind men who never saw an elephant. Of course, never have no idea what an elephant is. And when they learned that there was an elephant in the village, they went and felt it, and each one of them felt a different part of the elephant. All right, and when they came together and said what an elephant is, each one said a different thing, and they started to disagree with each other because each one of them thought they were right. And then a wise man passed by and said, look, an elephant is the culmination of all the features that you mentioned, and they were happy that each one of them were right. So this was a fun story. Now going back to that, all right, so it is an interesting discussion, and this is what I love about mastermind partnerships, because you have a question to throw, a place to throw questions like this at. All right, and you know that the people there are in the business, they have the experience, they know what they're talking about, and they're going to share. And essentially, with people like these, the cumulative knowledge, I would say, if it's not equal, if it doesn't equate to decades or scores, it would even be a century. So then it's really really awesome, because the larger the mastermind, the more engaged people there is, and then you're leveraging all this knowledge rather than just you figuring it out on your own. So definitely. And just me to share one of my stories, that when I got one of my coaching students, when I got on a phone with him, he sent me, gave me a question, and I answered it and showed him how to do it within 8 minutes. And then he told me like he was so grateful because he literally was trying to figure it out for weeks, weeks on end. And then when I just got on the phone, 8 minutes was all it took, and he was so happy. So just to show you the awesome power of leveraging mentors and having a mastermind. So this is a cool discussion. So now it's your turn. I would ask you, would you call your leads? And if you would, when, how, and why would you call them? All right, so just leave a comment below this video, and I look forward to your answers. Take care, guys.